Today I want to talk about something that, well, is very important to me. Multi-tool sheaths. So I've spent probably a four-figure sum on sheaths alone over the last few years. And I've learned a lot from my mistakes. And today I want to cover some criteria that I think you should use to take into going for this purchase. Because if you buy the right one, it can last you decades. But if you get the wrong one, you'll be unhappy from the beginning and you'll have wasted your money. So we're going to be talking about the criteria. We're going to be talking about some of the different sheaths that I've experienced. Wide range of prices from inexpensive all the way up to the custom made. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we go into this wide range of sheaths, let me talk about the criteria that I'm looking for when I evaluate them. There's three things. The first one is going to be security. That includes how it is attached to your body or how it is being held on and how well it's holding on to the components that are stored inside. The second thing I'm looking for is ease of carry or comfort. I want it to disappear on my body. I want carrying a multi-tool to not feel like a burden, right? I want it to disappear. And that is the thing that I think is going to be very price determining, because my experience has been the more custom the sheath, the more comfortable they tend to be. That has been my experience. But you should be able to find it in the less expensive sheaths, but you may have to give up on the third category, which is versatility or expandability. So sheaths like this one, which come with the Leatherman Surge, have expanded slots on the side. They also have a small slot on the inside for your bit kit. And this is going to be able to carry all of the components that you need to make the Surge as versatile as humanly possible, right? You're going to be able to put your bit extender in the, wrong side. You're going to be able to put the bit extender in the side. You're going to be able to put a flashlight or a sharpener or something along those lines over here. Now this one is not expanded very much, but you get the idea. Turn that off. So you'll be able to carry quite a bit with these sheaths. But as I stated, this is a great example of a sheath that has security, has versatility, but isn't exactly easy or comfortable to carry. I've never had one of these where I've used it for more than a week where I didn't get sick of it pretty quick. And in my opinion, if you're going to get sick of it, you're probably not carrying the tool. And Surge being over 12 ounces, it's basically a holster carry. You're going to need something that you want to wear. And if you don't want to wear it, well, what good is it? Just like most EDC items, if you don't have a good way to carry it, which is the most important thing, then you're probably not going to use it in the first place, right? It just becomes, what do you call it? It just becomes a paperweight, and that's no good. Now, there are some exceptions. There's some combinations that I think do end up surprising me. And sometimes these inexpensive multi-tools come with really good sheaths. Here's a great example, the Swiss Tech. Very secure with a large panel, and it's can accommodate a much larger multi-tool or combination of tools if you wanted to use it for something other than a multi-tool. Very cool. And it has horizontal carry, which when you horizontal carry a sheath, it can be way more comfortable, especially if you get in and out of vehicles quite often. A horizontal sheath can be the way to go. This one is also designed to work with MOLLE attachment systems, so that's also pretty cool. It just doesn't have expansion, which may be not necessary depending on what you're looking for. Still, I would consider this a decent sheath, just like I would consider this a very good sheath because it is both comfortable and secure. I think these are both examples of inexpensive and good sheaths. The Byberry sheath, slots on the sides for all kinds of stuff, bit kit on the front, a clip that can come on and off, which is really neat. Yeah, this is another example of a pretty decent budget sheath that comes with it. Now this is the Surge clone, so it's a little bit on the larger side, so it's definitely going to need that sheath as well. Not bad either. But if, let's say, you already have a multi-tool like a Surge and you're looking for something that's inexpensive, that has a lot of these characteristics, here's one that I think you should definitely check out. So this is Night Eye's sheath, is called their universal sheath, sorry. And what's cool about this thing is it has elastic that allows it to expand to accommodate any size. And what I have found, at least, is that it also can accommodate a wide range of tools. So even if it's not a multi-tool, this thing is very, very versatile. And to cap it all off, it has security. It has the comfort because it has like the rounded nature of it. It has a little slot in the back, but this is my favorite thing. You can actually put it horizontally on your belt. So I actually think at $15, this is actually one of the nicest sheaths you can get in the nylon design, and is definitely worth considering. Even if it's not for a multi-tool, this thing expands and can carry so many different items, like with the elastic on the side, that it's definitely something we need to talk about. There are also minimalistic sheaths like this one. This is from Viperade, and it's got a leather enclosure, it's horizontal carry, and it has a spot for you to carry a flashlight at the top. So the one thing that this has got comfort, no problem. It's got versatility for sure. The only thing that this sheath doesn't really have, in my opinion, is a lot of security. So if you do get a sheath that's open-ended like this, it has to have a pocket clip, right? You want to make sure that it has a pocket clip that is secure, so it's basically pinching on that leather. And ideally, you want it to be relatively snug. You can push it from the back, but just keep in mind, these sheaths can be very convenient, but they aren't always the most secure. All right, so we're going to move on. That's also another really expensive. I think this is like $10. We'll put a link to everything we're talking about for the most part. It might be difficult with all the multi-tools, but we'll put a link to them down in the pinned comment in the description. Okay, so some sheaths that come with multi-tools got it all. Well, mostly. I guess they have most of it. And here's an example of a sheath that is very high quality, very secure, has versatility in spades. I mean, check this thing out. This is the Swiss tool with the bit driving system. Awesome. And it even has the corkscrew. And yeah, it's also very, very comfortable. So yeah, this one I would consider to have all three. The only issue I have with this sheath is it's not one I will ignore, because you can see just how far it stands off of the body. But when it comes to having it all in one sheath, they did a very, very good job. Now this is, of course, is not going to be that inexpensive, but then again, Victorinox is the kind of tool that will last a lifetime. So can I recommend it? Hell yeah. Great sheath as well. And I gotta say, I cannot ignore the fact that the Gerber Heritage Made in USA leather sheath that comes with the Centerdrive, it's pretty good. It's also really good. I didn't expect it to be as solid as it is, but here we are. If you take care of this, I think this will end up being a great package. Once again, it's comfortable, it's got the versatility factor, it's secure. Yeah, solid, right? This is a solid package. The only thing I personally don't like is it stands a little high. Does that mean that you should spend $200 like I did to fix this one little problem? Well, not unless you are really annoyed by it. And for me, I just can't stand not having the right thing on me. So it was worth it to me to buy a better sheath. And we're going to get to that sheath at the very end of this video. Okay, so that leads us into custom sheaths, leather sheaths from companies where we're taking it up a notch. And so there's some things I've learned, and I want to share them with you. We'll start with Yellow Birch Outfitters. So this was a sheath designed for the Leatherman Search. Where's the Search? Search is right here. And I really, really like this sheath. So you stick this in, it has a little flap. It carries, this is left hip, it carries in such a way that you can easily access the tool, but it's not going to fall out. And it is so flush with the body. It's so comfortable. You forget it's there, even though this tool weighs over 12 ounces. And in addition to that, it also has a spot, as you probably can tell, on the top for a bit extender. So I like that quite a bit. Now I had to file down the side adjustment tools on this because I actually prefer this as my favorite one because it has the magnet, but it was sticking into my side. This was just kind of poking in, and I just didn't like that. So, but it will fit, it'll work with the other extender, which doesn't have the side adjustment, so you can get that as well. Versatility, yes. Ease of carry, hell yes. Very, very comfortable, very easy to carry, but it's not the most secure. So this is definitely something for someone who pulls their tool out of their sheath often, like very, very often. Preferably not somebody who's working on a boat. You definitely want to have some sort of closure if you're working somewhere where things can fall and disappear entirely. So there, it has two of the three. The other thing that it has is loops. Now, as we're going to continue to talk, I have found over time that I do not prefer it to be fixed to my hip. I actually like the option to have a clip, and we'll talk about why that is. And because this is really only left carry only, I ended up getting one for my right hip as well. And what the depender is for that is if I am carrying a folding knife. So if I'm carrying a folding knife, I always put my multi-tool on my left hip, because then I don't accidentally hit the sheath when I'm pulling the knife out. So if I have a knife blade, which this is a perfect example of a complementary knife because it has a much larger blade than most multi-tools. If I'm carrying this, I'm usually carrying my sheath on my left hip. But if I'm not carrying an independent knife and I'm going to be using the multi-tool all the time, then I carry it on my right hip. Now, that's $140-ish, okay, to just have one of each option. What I'm going to show you as we go through is why you might want to consider a clip design unless you're sure you're also going to carry the same way every single day. If you are going to carry it the same way every day, then these are great sheaths and definitely worth considering. Okay, let's talk about another similar option, but with a different combination of features. So these are basically the same sheath, right and left hand, from a company called Getset Gear. Love these guys. They make great wallets, great sheaths. These are very, 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 very comfortable to carry, and I love the diagonal approach that they take, because when you sit down, these are some of the most comfortable sheaths, and they tend to carry larger items better than most because of that angle. So if I take this very large 18650 flashlight, this is the ThruNite TN12 Pro, you could see, like, when I'm carrying it, it kind of disappears. And that is really nice. This little angled approach, no regrets trying this. It even has a spot to attach your keys with a loop that will be a lot more durable than the fabric loops of your belt. So great design. And above that, it also has this. Now you see this little thing? This is really important. And I didn't realize this when I first started my adventure into custom sheaths. There is a problem that you will encounter with most sheaths that don't have that. And when you basically, what happens is over time, the two loops can come together and the items stick out from your body like this. But with this attachment, which goes around your belt as well, it pulls the entire thing close and you never have that issue. It also means when you pull things out, it feels even more secure. Like this stays exactly where it should be as you pull out the item. Really, really like this design. Honestly, the only reason I don't use this sheath more is because of what I ended up on and I carry all the time. Because it has a third item slot in addition to having clips, which I have come to basically demand for my sheaths. But not everyone will feel that way. I think if you're just looking for a sheath, just like with the Yellow Birch Outfitters, I think if you're just looking for something, it's going to be in the same place every time. You're going to use the same combination of tools every time. This is an excellent choice. And they have a variety of different sizes for all the different slots on their website. I will put a link to theirs as well. Definitely recommend it. Okay, I even tried my hand at making my own or designing my own. I didn't make this. Country Bear Company did. Steven did an incredible job with this, kind of bringing my vision to life. And the idea was, I would have my multi-tool in my pocket, I would have a flashlight, and then I would have a Knipex Cobra or pliers wrench in this slot. This thing can actually fit a 150 pliers wrench, which is amazing. And then on top of that, it will also fit a pry tool. So I had a pry tool that I really liked that I left in here. I think it was basically the Vero Engineering's Fulcrum, but this works as well. And wow, that was really cool. And I loved it. It had the clips, which I thought I would like, and that worked great. And then, of course, this was my mistake. I didn't realize it would do that thing I talked about, which is folding in on itself. The only reason that I don't really use it that much is because of it. Now, I could fix this by adding a little placement, but the problem is if I do that, then I lose the ability to take it off my belt really easy. It occurs to me after playing around with all of these things. Let me do something real quick. Put this in here, and then I'm just going to grab some. We'll grab this real quick. Put this in here. It occurs to me that you need something to kind of hold it together from closing. So you need something to add tension to keep it from closing. Now, remember this shape for a second. That leads us to the genius of Tale of Knives and this little pen slot. Now, you might think, oh, it's the pen that made it, the way it is. My guess is that they were trying to solve this problem, and the pen being something you could store was sort of an added bonus, or maybe the other way around. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But what I can tell you is that this added piece of leather changes how the whole thing conforms to your body. Now, it's not as big of an issue with this one clip design, but when it comes to the two clip design, you don't need anything to hold it against the body in order for it to stay in that nice shape. So let's move on from this for a second and talk about the last step on my journey of sheaths, and the most expensive step. Because one of the big critiques of Tale of Knives is that they are expensive, and they are. And I get it. You have to really know what you want before you get a Tale of Knives sheath. But I have to be honest, I paid for all 4 of these, and the quality, in my opinion, matches the price. Handmade in the United States, lifetime guarantee, crazy workmanship, great quality products. I can't say enough. It's very, very, very high quality. That being said, if you go to order one of these and you don't know the tricks I'm about to tell you, you're going to be very sad, because you're going to end up with a very good quality sheath, but it's not going to fit just right, or it's not going to have exactly the right combination of features. So please watch this entire section before you go buy something from Tale of Knives. You will regret it otherwise, okay? And the big thing here, the big thing I want to convey, we're going to be talking about the size of the flashlight slots. Now, they use the measurements primarily for... Hold on one second. Okay, so the smaller size, which they say is for AA, right? It does technically fit the AA. But when I say AA, what I mean is it fits the same size as the i5T. That's kind of how they determined whether it was the right size. Now, some flashlights are about the same size, and you won't have any problems. Like this actually is a little bit tighter. Yeah, this one's almost too big. And that's what I'm going to get at. Not all AA's are exactly this dimension and size. And so what I found is that the dimension of this was too narrow, that everything needs to be upsized go up one size. Because if you get what they're calling the 18650 sized slot, you can fit a less compact AA flashlight. This actually fits perfectly in this slot, and this is a AA powered flashlight. If I go to a CR123, it's the same thing. And this is narrower by a lot than an 18650 powered flashlight. There's only a few flashlights. Where are they? Looking for all my stuff here. Okay, all right. There's only a few flashlights that are this narrow and are powered by an 18650. And they're basically all made by Olight. Because they have that proprietary battery that connects the tail switch to the front of the light, they're able to make it super narrow. But that's the only time that happens. Most flashlights in the 18650 size look like this. And that is not getting inside that, okay? It's not. It's too big. So make sure when you order from Tale of Knives that you get the XL sized hole for your flashlight. You will regret it if you don't. I'm telling you right now. It is going to be far more versatile. It doesn't matter whether you're using a large flashlight like this one or a type, a AA sized flashlight like this. It has no trouble carrying all the different sizes, right? So what? You have a little bit more space? That's what the pocket clip is for. Even if you wanted a AAA, this can absolutely carry a AAA flashlight with room to spare for your pen, right? If you want to have an extra pen or whatever it happens to be. So what I'm getting at is make sure that you get the XL sized slot for your flashlight. You will regret it otherwise. Okay. That's the big thing I wanted to convey. So if you learn nothing else from this experience, please make sure that you get the extra large sized hole for this. Now, talking about specific models, these two are the Jax T. They are very sleek, very elegant. They have single clip designs. They go on and off pretty easy. And therein lies the problem, at least my particular problem. What I found is that if the area around the flashlight is too tight, I'm more likely to pull this off my belt than I am to get the flashlight out. I had a hard time pulling out the items without accidentally pulling it off of my hip. I think they meant to make it easy to go on and off, and I think it's just a little bit too easy. So that's my personal feeling with these. They are excellent in quality, but it is not my favorite design from Tale of Knives. The one I'm going to recommend is the one I have and am using right now. So this is the sheath that I have carried for months. It is pretty much the only sheath that I have used since getting it. I've already talked about the flashlight slot. I also carry a pen. Usually it's this one, which has a bit driver, is a 4mm bit driver in the top here. And then if you go down, it has a pen, so it kind of has everything all in one. That's been my primary pen that I carry in here, like that. And the multi-tools, they vary. So I've been carrying the goat tool a little bit, so I enjoyed that, took that to the beach. My second most carried, or maybe probably my most carried multi-tool in the sheath is actually the Leatherman Free P4. I know that's surprising, but I'm really starting to love the Free P4. I don't know what it is. And the third one that I tend to carry in here is the MX Clip. And this is what made me realize that I'm mostly a sheath carrier, because I enjoyed carrying this so much more, even though this is like a perfect multi-tool for pocket carry. Like, it's so narrow, right? It's only 7.6 ounces, 7.9 ounces, so it's much lighter. Like, this is a very good EDC multi-tool, like maybe the best. I hate to use that word, but it's been my favorite by far. But I still carry it in the sheath. So sheath carry is definitely the way I've been doing it lately. All right. So that was great. So what did I do? Of course, I had to get one for the larger multi-tools, and that's exactly what I did. So this is going to work for the Surge and the Super Tool 300, and it's going to work for the Centerdrive as well. And the way I've set this up is with a extra large flashlight. So this is the Baton 3 Pro Max. It says 21700. There's other flashlights that will fit in this, by the way, ranging between the 21700 size and the 18650. But I like the concept of this, which was trying to make a sheath system that was going to be useful for whenever I'm in the shop or doing projects. So that's what this is. This is my project holster. And so I think this is a good flashlight for that. I don't need a tail switch. It has a strong magnet that'll hold onto the flashlight in a bunch of different angles, where not all of them can do that. And so this was a good combination. I also decided, just on a whim, to see if this pry tool would fit in the pen slot, and I'm pretty happy that it does. This is Teal Designs. It is their magnetic bit driver on the back, along with a bit driver on the front as well. So this is so cool. Check this out. It actually has the ability to do heavy pressure in addition to being inline. So I really, really like that. And I think paired with the Centerdrive, it's a great combination, giving you a total of 4 bits between the two things. I also tried this. Now, these unfortunately cannot be found, but they are going to be coming back in stock. This is from Countycom. It has 3 bits on the inside, 1 on the out, and it also works great in the pen slot as well. So it wasn't really going to have a pen, but it does work really good for certain sized screwdrivers. That was the idea with this. I actually prefer this much better. Now, I'm not going to go into this because I don't have time in this video. We're already well over the almost 25 minutes here. But I have to tell you, I've been really enjoying the Gerber Centerdrive. I didn't expect it, but here we are. Now, if you're wondering about this color combo, this was available during Father's Day on their limited release sale. It was pretty discounted too, if I remember correctly. And I don't know if it'll come back. I do know that they have a custom coloration that's either coyote, not brown, but like the tan. And then they also have a red combo that you can mix and match on their custom site. But yeah, here we are. Love this thing. I didn't expect to be liking it as much as I am. But yeah, I've been carrying it as pretty much the only heavy-duty multi-tool lately. And so here we are. This is what I have. Now, speaking of this, and we'll try to finish this up as quickly as I can, this combines everything I'm looking for. I found after carrying this for a little while that even though it's a lot heavier, it doesn't feel that way on the hip. When I have a knife, this goes on my left hip. When I'm just using this, it goes on my right hip. Simple as that. And these are my favorite sheaths that they make. So I will put a link directly to this model, this exact one. Just make sure that you get the right size flashlight slot. But this is what I would recommend if you're willing to spend a lot of money. The only thing you want to consider that's different from what I have is whether you want to get the flap or not. And I think if you work in an environment where things can fall out on a boat or otherwise, you should definitely get the flap. I'm still not sure I shouldn't have done that. I probably should have, if I'm being honest. And probably for both. But definitely that's a consideration to be different than this. But this is the sheath that has it all. And the clips, they're so secure. They don't come off at all. So honestly, it basically is the sheath that works for me. Forgot to mention the icing on the cake. So you might also see that Tale of Knives offers an edition that gives you a key clip. Don't do that. This is why. You can buy these very inexpensive metal clips, and the cool thing is that it can slot directly into where the belt clips are. So when I'm having it on my right hip, I can switch it there, and then I can turn it around, and I can switch it here, and go there. And the best thing about these clips is if I don't want to carry the multi-tool setup, put it aside, and then it carries my keys on the inside of my belt, or like it just gives me a lot of versatility. I did not expect these to be as good as they are. I have not had any issues with anything coming off. Just the way that the two pieces kind of connect with each other, it seems really secure. You can see I've used it quite a bit. And I cannot recommend these enough. I will put a link to them down in the description in the pinned comment. There's like $6, like $7 for a pack of 6 or something like that. They're awesome. And combined with this, it just solved all the problems. And you don't have to pay all that extra money to have the addition of the key connector. So, sorry, let's carry on. So was it worth spending the $1,000+ on all of these different designs to get to this point? I think so. And hopefully it'll save you from spending all the money I did to figure all this out. Anyway, I really do appreciate it. If you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for your time. And as always, we'll talk again soon.